Sorry, there's a breakage in the video. Okay, so let's say the the reading of the New Testament is like, or the Gospels, like I said, starting from Isaiah all the way to the New Testament, Pauline teaching gives you the protein. You need to develop your muscles. You can't be a good soldier fighting for the Lord if you don't have your muscles built up. And you can also be very specific as to which part of your body that you want to really exercise and train and strengthen it. Let's say you can use, you can study Christian apologetics that can help to shape the culture, to prepare them to be more open to receiving Christianity, to strengthen one's faith in God, because you might have questions even you're a Christian, and also to help you evangelize, to give you the tool, the weapons of warfare, to have a spiritual warfare, to talk to people who don't believe in God, or atheists or agnostics, or who have left Christianity, who might not have proper understanding of what Christianity was. Now, of course, if the person had no intention whatsoever to believe in God, even if you can prove through Christian apologetics, they have even the study of proving the existence of God. And right now I've made 2 videos. I've still got the 3rd and 4th video about the evidences that the 4 facts that undergird the resurrection of Jesus. So the resurrection of Jesus is a fact. It's not even circumstantial evidence, and it's not weak. But Christian apologetics is very, very powerful tool, powerful weapons of warfare to evangelize. And many churches are dying. Those who are trying to be evangelizing or conservative, they're just not making it. And then you have those heretical churches, emerging churches, who are, emphasizing on the health and wealth gospel and the word of faith movement. So even if you're going to be dying of cancer in no time, you can't even say, "Oh, I have cancer," whatever. Christian apologetics can really, can really help. So that's why I said that we've got the four types of reading. Your vegetables, your fruit. Your vegetable, which knowing what's the current and future fare, gives you the immune system, good spiritual immunity. Your fruits, the lovely comforting words from the minor prophets, starting from Psalm. And you have so your small wheel, and the big wheel is the forefathers, what they went through, starting from Genesis 1 and the Gospels, the New Testament, starting from Isaiah 20, Gospels of salvation through the Lord Jesus, all the way to the New Testament and Revelation. That's your protein. So, of course, some people that just want to really just build up the muscle, that read a lot and emphasize a lot when reading the New Testament. And that's very good too. Whatever it is, my sharing of this Living Will method, the Living Will Bible study method here, is to show you, how the Lord showed Johnson the different parts of the Bible to put it together. So you can read everything in 1 year, 6 months and 9 days. So I'm only touching upon Revelation and Psalm, the small wheel, which usually after we have the family lunch in that house church, we'll have a testimonial service where the small wheel is preached about 15 minutes or so about the current and future affair, and how we can overcome it through reading of this minor prophets. And then every one of us has a chance. Everyone can get up and have a chance to share something, testimony or whatever. If the Lord shows a person some kind of revelation or whatever, it's just like what in the New Testament, the churches in this spoken in the New Testament. All right, people get the chance to speak, but sadly, today's again, like I said, the great Babylonian spirit. If we try to merge the reading of Revelation chapter 16 verse 19 about how God punishes great Babylon to drink the fierceness, the wine of the fierceness of his wrath, and as we compare it to the other part of our small wheel Bible reading, where in Psalm 112 God talks about how can bless those who fears and greatly love the Lord's commandment. So when we put them two together, I did say I would like to help those many. There are many coming out of this Dr. Johnson's line, spiritual line. I mean, they came from that branch, and so was I. My pastor, preacher pastor, was born again under Dr. Johnson, and I learned a lot, and have a lot of materials, Johnson's materials, Bible commentaries, his volumes and volumes of his sermons, and his original hymns and so forth, a lot. But then in Mandarin, I just don't know when I have the chance to translate. If I do, I would do so. And by God's will as well. And so, also in this video, I'd like to talk about how we can learn to merge the two passages. When we look at Revelation, we can look at it as the frame. The frame is, what is the main frame? The main frame is the great Babylonian spirit, the evil and powerful spirit in this world that re-educates, like I said, that re-educates the whole world about global government, and ultimately, of course, in worshipping human as God, which is epitomized with, of course, the Antichrist, right? And the 10 different regions of the world that the leaders to rule the world. 10 could be a spiritual meaning to say that a group of global leaders ruling the world. So how do we look into the merging of those two readings? First, you look at it, is it the current or the future when it talks about Revelation? If you're talking about the literal aspect, perhaps you know that the literal aspects, many things are still in the future. But if it's the spiritual aspect of the meaning, like the great Babylonian spirit, like I said, like it started with the Tower of Babel. That's how the word Babylonian comes in. Babylon. It starts with the Tower of Babel, where men come together to rebel against God, to rule their own world. Do not need God, they are gods themselves. So with this kind of mentality or beliefs, we don't have to worry whether it's current or future. So let's get to what is the main spiritual meaning of the verse. Like I said, the main spiritual meaning of the verse, which I believe here, is to beware of the great Babylonian spirit, so that you don't end up being punished by God. So we can look at that. Alright, so we can look at that, and then how we use that, the great Babylonian spirit that God hates, use that to apply and merge it with, on the other hand, and compare it and contrast it with what the Lord told us in Psalm 112. What are we told in Psalm 1? What's the main thing in Psalm 112? Well, the main thing, if we read from the verses, I think that the main thing here, God is saying, you will be blessed. You and your children will be blessed if you fear me and you delight in my commandments. So if you fear God, delight in his commandments and do them. will be blessed. So on one hand, they're punished. It's a terrible punishment for those who are, into the great Babylonian spirit and believing that and supporting that. On the other hand, God is going to bless all those who are not like that. So you can merge two and two right away. That, well, where would you want to go? Alright, so the first thing first is, what is the main idea in this two? And you compare and contrast. Second part is, how does it apply to you personally? It's what I call the self-examination part. So are you having any, receiving or believing or getting into any of these Greek Babylonian spirit and teaching? The frog, definitely, it's perverted teaching based on lies. You don't know it's lies. The media, the globalist media, CNN or NBC, whatever, the globalist media tells you, no, the scientific, 36 scientific organization or whatever psychological, psychiatric organization said, the reparative therapy is not helpful, it's harmful, or let's say people are born with the gay genes or whatever. It's not a choice. When there are so many evidences out there that basically homosexuality is just a reparative action to cover something else. The trauma people have suffered since young. And once the trauma is found out what it is and ways to overcome that, and they lose their attraction towards the same sex, and they start learning how to connect with the same sex in the most fulfilling and healthiest way. Right, so anyway, and a lot of the materials, like I said before, from Freud's time, 1920, all the way, I don't know how many, half a century years old worth of material are blocked. You can't get those materials that tells you the real truth about what's behind all this, gay movements and all that. So anyways, we are being re-educated, right? Lies and perversion. Why? I think there's a difference. A person is struggling with same-sex attraction, that there is there's a way. But if the person is not struggling and want to be part of that gay movement or taking pride in being a gay, then they're not that interested in knowing why they are in that state. I mean, they believe in science, but what does science tell you? Science tells you that being gay is not science. It's not going to reproduce, descendants. Adopting is not adopting is not naturally. They can't naturally produce descendants. Two of the same sex cannot. But anyway, there's a lot of manipulation and hindering blockages of the truth, the fox spirit, and the snake. The core of it all is the lies. So anyway, if you are not understanding about this, the great Babylonian spirit, there's so many ways in terms of making people, re-educating the world that atheism is the way to go, that socialism, communism is the way to go for the world. Just so many ways, and fulfilling your happiness, that your gender identity is who you feel you are inside you, not what you are biologically. So these are all re-education. The core of it is always the snake, the father of lies, the devil, and the frog, croaking really loudly all over the world. So the second part as to how you're going to measure reading is self-examination. Double check. Are you involved? Are you unknowingly in support of the great Babylonian spirit in re-educating us? Something that's against God's word. That means you don't love his commandments, you don't love his word. The commandments here is not just I do this and do that, it's really his words, basically. Whatever God speaks to us, everything becomes a commandment, because he said, delight in me, delight in my words. Well, you may not like what God says, but you have to learn to. It's not natural for our body to like what God tells us to like. Right? So his words become commandments. His word. But once you are in his direction and through the Lord Jesus, who strengthens us in all things to be able to do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So you won't find God's word, his commandments is so hard, but more like his words are and commandments are more like love letters. This book here, like I said, I believe in the King James Version being the best that the Lord has given us, and this book is a love letter from the Lord. I do not condemn anyone who is studying other Bible versions, not at all. Again, because everyone has a different level of relationship, and some might not want to be reading the best or getting the best, but they're happy enough where they are in their relationship with God. And if I would have told them the King James Bible is the best, I might say, no, it's not the best for me. Yeah, whatever. So I don't want to go into that. I'm not the expert on that either, so I'm not going to go into that. So the self-examination part is the second part. So if you are, or not, having this Babylonian spirit in you, that you can pray and ask the Lord to double check. And if you're not, then ask the Lord to help you to be more like what, to have the characteristics of what is described in Psalm. To be honest with you, today's description of Psalm is really all about being giving and helping those who needs help. So, and that God said that the horn of the righteous will be exalted with honor. So it's really, again and again, here it's all about being gracious, full of compassion, shows favour, lendeth, guides us affair with discretion, not afraid of evil tidings. Seems like it's part and parcel of your life if you are really fearing God and loving his commandments. You're going to have a lot more. The more spiritual you try to be, the more evil tidings you're going to hear against you. That the devil work against you. There are people through the situation you're in. And here's but like I said, we don't have to worry. Just matter of faith and patience. We live a life based on faith, life of faith. And again, it talks about having dispersed, gives to the poor. His righteousness will endure forever, and his horn will be exalted with honor. So over here, I think what I like the best is this verse here. His heart is established. Okay, I think it's verse 7 and verse 8. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. So it's a very extremely mature and faith-based sort of relationship with God. He's not going to live his life being loaded with all the riches and hoarding them for his little world, his fleshly family, his very own little world. So that doesn't mean, just because you love your little own family and world does not make you different from other people, from unbelievers. It's going beyond that, dispersing, giving, helping. So what does that get to do with a great Babylonian spirit? I think ultimately the great Babylonian spirit removes all that true giving nature of a person. It's all about pride of life, about being, being your own God. Do what you like. The re-education of the great Babylonian spirit is do what you like. The earth belongs to you. The world is yours. You have all the rights as a happy resident of the world, instead of having to answer to a God over this world, so over this earth. But we are told very carefully that, and clearly, that the wicked shall see the righteous and they'll be grieved. That's why those who are truly seeking spiritual walk of life with God, they always have enemies. It's only natural. Who are against, they're standing up for the truth for God. And they hate it so much that he shall gnash with his teeth and melt away. So we don't worry, they'll, melt away the outer darkness. We know that at the end. Forever. And the desire of the wicked shall perish. So I like that verse too. So ultimately, they'll be gone. God will punish them. It's just a matter of time. If you don't see in your lifetime, be not grieved. Then you suffered, like how Lazarus suffered. And he went to heaven, resting in Abraham's bosom. As compared to the rich man, someone with a great Babylonian spirit, it's all about money. Money. I'm not that he's not giving. Who knows? He might. I don't know. He's showing how he gives so much to the church or whatever. Whatever. The great Babylonian spirit is more like, you're really worshipping the evil power, and behind all that is money. Behind the global, global governance sort of ideology, behind all that, all the multi-billionaires. Like I said, the Rothschild family is one of them, Goldman Sachs. I think in many more. I don't know, there are like so many. So the Bilderberg organization of 300 members, they're all very rich, the richest in the world. So it's all about money. So that's why this psalm that we're reading here, 102, reminds us, be not so attached to all these things that you have. Give, disperse and give. Show favor and lend. So, which is a very important factor. If you don't have the great Babylonian spirit, you would be a very giving person. But I think a lot of people use their riches and wealth more as an evil power. So if you're in that category, that whether it's a church or whatever, the more they have, the more wealth they amass, are they using it as to promote the evil agenda or the heretical agenda? So the second part is to double check whether it's your personal level, And the third part is your social part. Socially, are you involved in the right, let's say, with the right people? Of course, it's that, let's say you're involved in a church, and the church is really not teaching the right thing, and you can see that they have this, the great, the great Babylon is the mother of harlots. So they're very adulterous in their spiritual kind of alliances and teaching, secularizing what the spiritual relationship we have with God. Then you do want to, of course, not be part of that. If you cannot help change, then you can't. Last week, I think we went to one time. We were late, but we visited a church, and but we were there just a few minutes because we were late, and had a small group meeting. Very nice people, very lovely people, but the church supports. They'll have this same-sex marriage on Saturdays. So I don't think I can influence the churches to change that. So I'm not going to that church. This week I'm going to attend another church. We'll see how. It's been 3 years. I really hope to settle somewhere. But we know it's in the period of the falling away of those churches, greatest apostasy, it's really hard to get a church with a good sound doctrine. Okay, I guess that's all. And I hope that my sharing of how the two passages emerged is useful, which means that the ultimate bottom line is God tells us, move away from the great Babylonian spirit and cling on to God and His commandments, love His words, and God will bless you. Fear Him, and not just you but your descendants. That's all. Thank you, and God bless.